Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game preview to our Carabao Cup quarter-final against Leicester City tomorrow at Goodison Park. Duncan Ferguson taking charge of Everton once again after two very good performances and very good results. Obviously the 3-1 win against Chelsea at Goodison Park and the 1-0 draw against Man United at Old Trafford. Duncan Ferguson taking charge of the Blues for what could be the last time in the near future. Obviously there's been a load of rumours surrounding Carlo Ancelotti and his potential move to Everton. There's been loads of stuff today. Sky Sports saying that he's agreed a deal. 4.5-year contract. He'll come in with his son David. Duncan Ferguson will also be a number 2 to him as well. He'll also be an assistant manager as well as his son David. And you know, there's rumours that his first game in charge will be the game against Burnley on Boxing Day. There's now Dominic King, who is also a very reliable journalist and very reliable source, has come out over the last hour and said that it's far from being done and that the discussions have been there, and Farhad Moshiri has met with Carlo Ancelotti in London, but there's still a lot to be done and a lot of things to be tied up before it'll get announced. We know it's not going to get announced before tomorrow's game at Goodison Park. Everton obviously announcing yesterday that Duncan Ferguson will take charge of this game. And that Duncan Ferguson will lead the Blues out, and then a couple of times today throwing a couple of videos out about how important it is for us to get Goodison rocking tomorrow, get Goodison bouncing, and you know, really get behind the team. And I think the overall feeling at the football club at the minute is very positive. It's very warm. It's very happy. Fans know that it's a fresh start. You know, the potential of having arguably one of the best managers to ever grace the earth, you know, come in and manage us going forward is really exciting. And I think there's absolutely no doubt that every single person inside of Goodison Park tomorrow and every single person watching Everton will be massively excited for the future. Obviously, we can't look past tomorrow. It's a real tough game. Leicester are a side that we know how they play. They've been, you know, they play very well this season. They're very high up the table. They've already beaten us over the last couple of weeks. Okay, granted, it was a little bit lucky with a last-minute VAR goal, but we know how well they can play, and we know how well they play on the counter-attack as well. So it's not a game that we should be overlooking. I know it's, you know, it's very exciting times at the football club, and I know it's very tough to not, you know, sit here and think about the Carlo Ancelotti stuff and think about the potential new manager. And we will be doing a video regarding Carlo Ancelotti that'll go up a little bit later today. It won't be a live stream, it will be a video, but that's the reason I've decided to make a separate video is because I don't really want to talk about him an awful lot in this live stream, because for me it's about big Duncan Ferguson tomorrow, and it's about those Everton players going out there and putting in another really tough, hard working, gritty performance, and you know, another performance that will see us get through a cup competition. You know, a lot of people on Twitter are referencing how it could be very similar to the Chelsea game a few years ago in the FA Cup, you know, where we weren't performing great in the league, and you know, we played Chelsea, I believe it was in the quarter-final, I think it was the FA Cup, and Lukaku scored, and you know, Goodison Park was absolutely bouncing on that night. It was under the lights, the atmosphere was unbelievable, the performance was fantastic, and I think a lot of people are expecting a very similar performance tomorrow. And let's hope that, you know, if this is the last game that Duncan Ferguson's going to manage for Everton in quite some time, obviously there's always that potential of him coming back in the future, and I'm sure that's his, you know, overall goal and overall aim is to, you know, manage Everton in the future and and you know, take us forward. But at the minute, he said himself that he's not looking to do that yet, and he wants the best, you know, the best managers to come in and the best managers to manage Everton. You can't really argue with the fact that Carlo Ancelotti is arguably the best manager still, you know, managing. You know, when you look at his credentials, when you look at the things that he's won in his career, when you look at where he's been and what he's done, you know, it's really tough to argue against that. But you know, for the very near future, tomorrow could be Duncan Ferguson's last game in charge. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, obviously we're taking it step by step, we're taking it game by game, and so with the football club, obviously, by announcing that Duncan Ferguson will be in charge game by game, and he might well be in charge against Arsenal at the weekend, and that's, you know, a big potential. TalkSport were saying yesterday that Ancelotti could potentially be in by the weekend. Sky was saying that. Sky now saying that his first game might be Boxing Day, which obviously is about, you know, a week away, just over a week away after Christmas, of course. So, you know, Duncan Ferguson could still be in charge of the weekend, but depending on how quickly negotiations move, depending on how quickly these things happen, we don't really know how many more games Duncan Ferguson's going to be in charge of Everton. You know, Carlo Ancelotti, I believe, wants to get this done and dusted and tied up as quick as possible, you know, so he can get back into managing, and I believe he does want to manage back in England. So, listen, it's all looking very positive on the manager sort of outlook. It's all looking very positive regarding Carlo Ancelotti and his potential move to Everton. However, like I said, we are here to talk about the game tomorrow. We are here to talk about Duncan Ferguson, because he will be leading the lads out at Goodison Park tomorrow. Sorry, got a little bit of a sore throat. Still suffering here from this stupid illness that I've got, and it doesn't help that there's still no heating in ours, and it's absolutely freezing, as you can see. Or as you can probably see, I've got about 25 layers on. So yeah, anyway, tomorrow night, sorry, it's about Duncan Ferguson, and it's about those lads, and it's about us getting behind those lads, and you know, hopefully having another one of those memorable nights at Goodison Park in the Cup where we put in a real tough, gritty performance, and we go out and get the win. And that's exactly what we're going to need to do tomorrow, because this isn't going to be an easy game. We're not playing a championship opposition. We're not playing a team that, you know, we could expect to turn up and walk all over. And I know a lot of Evertonians are confident about this game, and a lot of Evertonians think we can go out and beat Leicester, and I honestly do. And I've said this a couple of times over the last 2 weeks under Duncan Ferguson. I think Everton can beat any team from the Premier League at Goodison Park, because I just think Duncan Ferguson has got that relationship and he's got that rapport with the fans, you know, to get us riled up, and the fans will be up for it. Goodison will be bouncing, and that obviously shows on the pitch as well, and the players feed off that. So I think I am confident for tomorrow, and I do think we'll come away with the win, and hopefully it is another one of those memorable cup nights, you know, where there's a massive opportunity on the line. It's not just another game for Everton Football Club, it's a cup quarter final, you know, with a big chance for us to go and get in the semi-final. There's still teams in the competition that we could beat. Let's be perfectly honest, we could get the better of. You know, there's tough teams in the competition, but there's still teams that, you know, you'd fancy us against at home or away. You know, especially with a new manager coming in, especially with the manager of the experience of somebody like Carlo Ancelotti. So it's really important that we don't really look past tomorrow's, you know, game. I know it's awfully hard not to when you're seeing all the rumours and you understand that Carlo Ancelotti isn't going to be in as Everton manager before tomorrow's game, so you just want to look at the future. But, you know, we do play tomorrow, and we play a really tough fixture against the side that we know are going to come, we know are going to fight, we know are going to press, we know are really good in the counter attack. They're a fast playing team, they've got some real quality players in there as well, so we need to be able to match that and not overlook it, just you know, because of the fact that we've got some really good news on the manager point of view. So anyway, as you can see, my predicted starting 11 on the left hand side of me there, I've gone for Jordan Pickford in goal. Now a lot of people are maybe you know, hinting towards Jonas Leisel getting an opportunity, or maybe even Martin Stecklenburg getting an opportunity. I'm not too sure what's going on with Jonas Leisel at the minute. Obviously, he hasn't been in the squad for a couple of weeks. You know, whether that's through injury, whether that's through the Duncan Ferguson's preference, I'm not too sure. But Jonas Leisel hasn't been in the squad for a couple of weeks, so I'm going to assume that he won't be tomorrow night either. And you know, if you were to ask me who I'd rather have, Stecklenburg or Jordan Pickford, personally, I'd rather have Jordan Pickford, despite the fact that he potentially hasn't been playing fantastic this season. So I've gone for Jordan Pickford in goal. Back line as Leighton Baines. Duncan Ferguson did confirm today that Luca Dean will miss this game through injury. So Luca Dean is out. Obviously, he picked up that injury against Manchester United at Old Trafford, only on the pitch about 20-25 minutes, and he had to come off through injury. So Luca Dean will miss this game through injury. Michael Keane and Yerry Mina as the centre-halves, as per usual, and Seamus Coleman at right back. Again, very similar to Luca Dean, Gylfi Sigurdsson and Jabil Sidibe are going to undergo late fitness checks to see if they can make it, obviously, through them and be fit enough to compete tomorrow night. As we know, both of them missed out on Sunday's game through illness. You know, I assume it was just the virus that's going around that we're all getting at the minute. I know I've got it myself. So they'll have to pass late fitness check to see if they're ready to compete. However, even if Jabil Sidibe is past fit, I think this would be a good opportunity to, you know, give Seamus a little bit more of a run in. He done quite well against Manchester United. He didn't, you know, let an awful lot get past him. He defended well. And he done enough going forward, and I think it will be a little bit unfortunate to take Seamus out of this equation and to put Jabil Sidibe straight back in. I think it's a good opportunity for us to say to Sidibe, even if you are fit and even if you do pass a late fitness check, yes, you can go on the bench, but we're still going to keep you out. We're not going to start you. We're going to give you a little bit of a rest, with the hopes, obviously, to getting him back in the starting 11 for the Arsenal game, because, you know, at the minute he is our best performing right back, and he needs to be in the most important games. And I think, although, you know, tomorrow night is a massively important game, I think it's fair to say that, you know, would rather Jabil Sidibe be in there for the Premier League games over the next couple of weeks, you know, especially if he's carrying a little bit of an illness. So going into the midfield, I've gone for Bernard on the left and Iwobi on the right. Now, I was tempted to maybe put Richarlison on the right and change it up a little bit, or maybe even Calvert-Lewin on the right, but I've gone for the same wingers as that started against Manchester United. Again, I think both of them could have done an awful lot better, if I'm being honest with you. I think what Alex Iwobi offers you is he offers you that movement, he offers you that room, he makes space for himself and he moves about. And Bernard does very, very similarly. Now, okay, they weren't fantastic on the ball the other day, but, you know, again, Bernard's only just coming back from an injury. He hasn't played consistent football since before October, sorry. So he's going to need, you know, consistent game time, and I think it'd be important to get Bernard as much game time as possible at the minute, especially over this period. And I've gone for Alex Iwobi on the other side. Again, not many options. Obviously, Theo Walcott still currently out injured. And we know that, you know, there's a number of forwards that could potentially play on the wing, but I don't think Duncan Ferguson will go for that. I've gone for Mason Holgate and Tom Davies in the centre of the park. Absolutely fantastic, the pair of them against Manchester United. Mason Holgate bossing the game, man of the match for me. Absolutely outstanding. Pocketed two midfielders in Manchester United, who, you know, one of them in McTominay, who's very, very highly rated over there, and one of them in Fred, who cost over 50 million, and Mason Holgate, who's a natural centre half, playing centre midfield for the first time, made them look absolutely bang average. So Mason Holgate for me in the centre of the park, again, absolutely unbelievable. And, you know, obviously we're going to need, as you know, we haven't got midfield, let's be perfectly honest. Okay, Gylfi Sigurdsson might pass a late fitness test, but even if he does, he's still coming off the back of an illness that can be very, very draining to the body, and obviously he's not going to be fully 100% fit, and he's going to be coming up against the midfield of Ndidi, James Maddison, Tielemans, etc., who are really, really fast thinking and good footballers, and I don't really want a Gylfi Sigurdsson that's carrying a little bit of an illness to have to be putting up with them, especially when Mason Holgate done so well against a good attacking Manchester United team last week. Obviously Tom Davies next to him. I thought Tom done well against United. He could have done a little bit better. I think he hindered this game a little bit by getting that yellow card early on, and it was never a yellow card, let's be perfectly honest. Yes, it was a foul, but it was never a yellow card. Once again, we were shafted by a shocking referee in Michael Oliver. But, you know, I think that sort of hindered Tom's game a little bit. He understood that he can't fly in with the tackles that he usually fly in with. He can't, you know, make them challenges, and he can't put himself about as much. So I fully expect Tom to be back to his normal self, winning the ball back and not afraid to throw himself about. And he wasn't afraid, even, you know, after he got that yellow card against Manchester United, he still wasn't afraid. He was still, you know, going for it. He was still trying to win every ball. It was just, you could see that it was having that effect on him, as it would. And I've gone for a front two of Richarlison firstly. Again, Richarlison, another performance on Sunday where, you know, he showed that he doesn't have to be on the score sheet, he doesn't have to be creating opportunities to be playing well. He was getting involved, he was throwing himself about, he was defending well, he was using his strength, he was using his ability as well to get into positions. You know, obviously he was one of the two, him and Calvert-Lewin, who jumped up at David De Gea to ultimately force David De Gea into making a mistake to get the goal. So Richarlison's thoughts, and I've gone for Moise Kean up front. Now this is probably the most controversial out of the picks. Everybody else pretty much picks themselves, don't they, through injury or level of performance. But Moise Kean is probably the most controversial one, I think. Now, I was quite tempted to throw in a couple of young players in this squad, throw in an Anthony Gordon, throw in, you know, maybe a Morgan Feeney or some, you know, Wayne says in the comments there, Ellis Sims, but I don't think Duncan Ferguson's going to do that. I think those players could feature on the bench, but when you look at this game and when you look at the situation that we're in, obviously we're still not doing fantastically in the Premier League, and yes, we've done an awful lot better, you know, since Ferguson's come in, and we've had a couple of real good solid performances and a couple of real good results. But, you know, we're still sitting, 16th in the Premier League. We're still struggling a little bit, and this isn't a game against, no disrespect, but a Hartlepool or a Tranmere or a Blackburn, where it's a game against the lower league opposition that are coming to Goodison Park and that, are potentially going to put up a fight, but realistically we should have more quality. We're playing against, for me, the second best team in the Premier League at the minute, a team that are looking like they're going to comfortably finish within the top four. It's not really a game to be messing about with. Yes, it's a cup quarter final, yes, it's not a league game, but again, we said it from the start of the season, and we've been saying it for months and months now, and years even. This isn't a competition that we can afford to just disregard and mess about with and play young players against, the top sides, because we need to be taking this competition seriously, because it's a real big chance for us to win silverware. If we beat Leicester tomorrow and we manage to go through, we're in a cup semi-final, and who knows, that semi-final will be played when we've got the new manager, and it may be Carlo Ancelotti who comes in and potentially, revitalises this squad and gives them that winning mentality, and we might go on and win that semi-final and then win in the final. And, we could be coming away from this season, which 2, 3, 4 weeks ago seemed like an absolutely dire season where, relegation was being spoken about, and it was looked like we'd never, beat Leicester in a million years. We could come away with it with a win. And the reason I've taken Dominic Calvert-Lewin with a cup, and the reason I've taken Dominic Calvert-Lewin out is because nothing to do with performance. I think he was absolutely fantastic again last Sunday, obviously getting man of the match against Manchester United. I just probably think, he could do with a little bit of a rest, and I think he probably deserves a rest. I know, again, it's a bit contradicting because I'm saying that this isn't really a game where you rest players or you play players that, for the first time or give them the opportunity. But I think Arsenal's a game at the weekend, where we can really, really look to exploit Arsenal defensively. I think Arsenal have been poor for a number of weeks now and have been poor defensively for a number of weeks, and I really do think Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be key to that game and will ultimately start that game. And when you look at Dom's performances over the last 2 weeks, he's done nothing but run his arse off, work, give 110%, work his arse off constantly, and I think Dom probably does deserve a little bit of a rest. I think this could be a big, big opportunity for Moise Kean to pull his socks up and prove to Duncan Ferguson and Evertonians that he can put in a decent performance, and he is fit enough to play in 90 minutes, and he is willing to go out there and lift his head up and, consistently run around and put himself about and, look for the best ball and not sulk. And I'm not saying that Moise Kean was sulking the other day or he had no right to be upset at the situation, because he did. At the player's point of view, he did have a right to be upset. But I think, providing Duncan Ferguson's had a word with Moise Kean, which, I would hope that he has, and providing that Duncan Ferguson said to Moise Kean, you need to be in training pretty much an hour before everybody else, and you need to be staying after everybody else to get your fitness up and to work on the stuff you need to work on. I think this would be a good chance for Duncan to go, you know what, here you go, here's your opportunity. It's a Carabao Cup game, it's at Goodison Park, the fans are going to be booming, the ground's going to be booming, everybody wants you to do well. Go out there and prove to me that you can do well. And if Moise Kean's got any ounce about him and wants to stay at this football club, he'll snap that opportunity off with both hands. Like I said, plus it gives Dominic Calvert-Lewin a little bit of time to sit out and have a little bit of a well-deserved rest. Now, Dom mightn't want that, Dom mightn't need that, and that's fair enough. Duncan Ferguson might just go with the same front two that have worked over the last 2 weeks, but I think it would be very interesting to see Moise Kean in the starting 11 and see how he reacts as well. And it'll also put to bed some of the criticism and some of the rumours surrounding Duncan Ferguson's relationship with him, and the fact that they mightn't like each other, and the fact that he mightn't play for Everton again. I think it'll be a chance for him to get an opportunity and go, you know what, let's see what you can do with this. Anyway, that's my predicted starting 11. I assume a lot of you will say no to Moise Kean, get him out and just have Dom in there because that works. But let me know your thoughts on that. Starting 11 in the comment section down below. If you're watching live, let me know in the live comments. If you're enjoying the team so far, by the way, please do hit that like button. It means a massive, massive amount to me. And if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. Jonathan says, hey Cam, hey Jonathan, hope you're doing well. Good Soul says, hey Cam, be great to have Ancelotti unveiled as manager and then get a win. Goodison will be rocking it. Will, spot on. Mr. Tightliest says, we've got Carlo, the deal is done. Hopefully, I don't believe it is done yet, and even if it is done, the club won't announce it because the full focus is on tomorrow, but it's looking more and more likely that that's the case. Ziad says, what do you think of Ancelotti? I'll be absolutely ecstatic if he comes in, when he comes in. Hernandez says, how's it going, Cam? I'm not too bad, make myself, hope you are. He says, all is well. Do you think the Big Dunk has had a serious conversation with Moise Kean by this point? Hope he starts tomorrow. I really do think he has. Ziad says, what do you think of Ancelotti could do and where he can take you? I don't even want to. My mind will go wild if I try and talk about where I think Carlo Ancelotti could take Everton potentially, but I think he has a massive appointment. He'll be the most successful manager arguably to ever manage Everton, certainly in the last 10 15 years, and it will be an absolute credit to have him at the club, and it's really, really exciting times going forward, and it does show the level of ambition that we want to see as fans. Soccer MD said, do you think we can win a trophy with Carlo? 100%, because he's proven. LCFC Boy says, hi mate, I Cam, sorry mate, unfortunately I had something come up so I won't be able to come tomorrow, but should be a good game, no worries, and it definitely will be a good game. Where are we? Eugene says, Everton will beat Leicester City tomorrow night 4-0 in the League Cup. I do hope so, mate. I certainly do hope so. Chris says, hi, mate. Sorry not being commenting recently, being busy. I'm in Qatar for us playing our Club World Cup games. And well done on getting Ancelotti, which I think will happen. Good stuff, happy days. Enjoy yourself in Qatar, and I hope so too. I hope we do get Ancelotti. Ziad says, are you going to miss Goodison Park? Yes, 100%. Chris says, you've got a very realistic chance of winning the Carabao Cup under Ancelotti. I agree. Ian says, Silva lost us the Leicester match, made the defence come together when we were playing like the old Everton. Fair enough. Ziad says, what do you think of Arteta to Arsenal? I think it's a risk, but we'll have to see how it goes. Good Soul says, whatever happens, we'll owe a big thank you to Big Dunk. He's instilled a lot of passion back into our club. He's always had the best interest at the club of the heart. Yeah, and I plan a special video when Duncan Ferguson eventually steps out and, the new manager comes in, whether it be Carlo Ancelotti or somebody else. I've got a video planned to say exactly that, to say thank you for making Everton feel like Everton again and instilling that passion and making us, know what it feels like to have a fellow fan on the touchline managing Everton. And obviously that'll come in due time, but I don't want to make it while he's still managing the club. I assume that over the next couple of weeks a decision will be made about who comes in, and it's looking like it will be Carlo Ancelotti at the minute. Goodison says before his own tests, spot on. Chris says Carlo Ancelotti will definitely win you trophies and bring you consistent European football. Here's hoping, Chris. Corn says, how's it, Cam? Do you think Ancelotti is defo coming? I'm not too bad, I hope you're doing well. Paul says, any ideas you'll be manager on Saturday? It's difficult, isn't it? Because I'd like to say it'll be Ancelotti and he'll be in by then and the deal will be done, but Dominic King thinking that there's still a long way to go, Sky thinking that the deal's done and there's not much more to discuss. So we're hearing different things from different, media sources, and I suppose we'll just have to wait and see what the club decide. He definitely won't be in before tomorrow night, and that's why we have to get tomorrow night, out the way, and we have to be fully focused on tomorrow night. But whether he'll be in for Saturday is a different question, of course. The rumour is that his first game in charge will be the game against Burnley on Boxing Day. Whether that means that that's when he'll be announced, or whether it means he'll be announced prior to that and he just won't manage until that game, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, won't we? But I think, like I said at the start of the team, the most important thing now is tomorrow night. And, it's really, really easy to get carried away with the Carlo Ancelotti stuff, and it's really, really easy to get carried away with the fact that he's a world-class manager. He's got, utmost amount of honours. He's won the league in Germany, he's won the league in France, he's won the league in England, he's won the league in Italy, he's won the Champions League with multiple different teams. He's won everything that you can win at that level. And yes, there's a risk, involved, because he hasn't really managed the side that are in the situation that we're in, and he hasn't really managed a set of players that aren't world class per se. But would be absolutely silly for me to turn down the opportunity to have a manager like Carlo Ancelotti managing Everton Football Club, and I think there's only exciting times ahead. But like I said, it's very easy to get carried away with all of that stuff. What we've got to realise and what we've got to look at is that we play a game of football tomorrow against a real good, tough side at Goodison Park in a quarter-final of a cup competition that we've never won, a quarter-final of a cup competition that we've consistently over the years just put to one side and thought, I don't even want to think about it. And for me, it's massively important that we go into this game tomorrow not thinking about Carlo Ancelotti, not thinking about the potential of him coming in as Everton manager, but going into the game with the same mindset that we went into the game against Manchester United last Sunday, with the same mindset that we went into the game against Chelsea a couple of weeks ago. It's Duncan Ferguson's Everton. Duncan Ferguson's going to be on the sideline. He's hopefully going to be running up and down the sideline, picking up ball, but he's getting involved, enjoying himself, loving it, and hopefully another Everton victory, because that's ultimately what we need. It's a big opportunity tomorrow for us to go out there and for us to get into a semi-final of a cup competition, and like I said, then we can worry about who's going to manage us for that semi-final, because it might be a manager who is notorious in winning cup competitions like Carlo Ancelotti. But there's no point in thinking about that or discussing that unless we get through tomorrow. And like I said, we're not just playing a no-mark team or a team that are going to be quite easy to get through. We're playing a real good, solid team in Leicester City, who have proved this season that they can beat pretty much anyone. They've got some real tough players, and Ndidi, Chilwell, Tielemans, and the big one obviously up front is Jamie Vardy, the big talisman. And I think the likes of Yerry Mina and Michael Keane are going to have a real tough job tomorrow night, as is Mason Allgate. He needs to step up again, and he needs to put in a similar midfield performance as the one that he done last Sunday against Manchester United. We're coming up against a team that counter-attack really well, use a lot of pace, and are notorious for breaking teams down with that pace. So the likes of Seamus Coleman, the likes of Leighton Baines are going to have to step up again, and it is going to be a tough game, obviously, and Leicester are a team that could potentially come in and beat us at Goodison Park. And what I don't want is for us as fans and the club to be thinking too much about the managerial situation, and like I said, to get sort of sidetracked and subconsciously not be fully focused on this game. We need to be fully focused on tomorrow night. It's Duncan Ferguson's Everton. We know how well Duncan Ferguson's Everton can play, and it's all about Duncan Ferguson's Everton tomorrow. It's not about Carlo Ancelotti's Everton, because he hasn't signed the dotted line yet. And even if he had signed the dotted line, he wouldn't be leading that team out tomorrow. It's about Duncan Ferguson, and it's about those 11 players that go out and play at Goodison Park tomorrow night, and it's about them going out and getting the win against the tough Leicester side, the ground being bouncing, the crowd getting up for it, and us seeing ourselves into the semi-final of a Carabao Cup, which obviously is another massive bonus and positive to this season. Again, will be a massive bonus for Duncan Ferguson's time in charge of Everton as well, and it is going to be tough. It's not going to be easy, but we need to focus on that, and that needs to be done. And like I said, I think, again, we're coming into this game a little bit like the Manchester United game, where we're stuck on injuries. We're going to struggle to get a full 18 out that consistent Premier League players, as we seen the other night with Cuco Martina being on the bench for the first time in about 73 years. But like I said, Duncan Ferguson proved against Manchester United on Sunday that doesn't matter who you're playing, doesn't matter where you're playing, what stadium you're playing in, what team you're playing against. If you've got fight, if you've got passion, if you've got that want to play for the badge and that want to battle and that want to win and that ferociousness about you, that doesn't matter if you're a centre half playing centre midfield, doesn't matter if you're a striker playing left back, you're going to fight 100%. And a lot of teams won't put up the same fight as that Everton will be willing to put up with. But I think Leicester could be one of them teams that will put up that fight. Again, another team that are probably fair to say, wouldn't expect to be where they are this season, and another team that'll be looking to go as far as they can in cup competitions, because they haven't, won a trophy obviously since winning that Premier League in 2016. So it's a big game for both teams. It's a massive game for Everton Football Club, and it's a massive game for Duncan Ferguson. And I really just hope that we go out there with the full focus on the game tomorrow. I hope that the players are only focused on the game. I hope that the players are only focused on going in and battling and putting in another tough performance. And again, listening to every instruction that Duncan Ferguson gives and going out and getting the win tomorrow, because it is a massively important game, and it will be massively disappointing if we don't win tomorrow and we come away and without the Carabao Cup, and all of a sudden cup competitions are looking a little bit more thin. You only get 2 domestic cup competitions this season. Let's be perfectly honest, we're not going to win the Premier League, and if we get knocked out tomorrow night, we play Liverpool at Anfield in the first round of the FA, in the third round of the FA Cup. Sorry, obviously the first round we playing, and I know under Carlo Ancelotti and even under Duncan Ferguson, a lot of us would be confident in going to Liverpool and at least ruffling them up a little bit. But let's be honest, it's Liverpool at Anfield, and notoriously we have absolutely no look at that ground whatsoever, regardless of who's in charge. So it's a big opportunity for us tomorrow, and we have to go out and we have to fully focus on it, and we have to go and get the win for me, and then we can then talk about who's going to be in charge for the game on Saturday, and we can then get more excited about the managerial talk out. Like I said, I'll have a video out a little bit later on tonight about Carlo Ancelotti and talking about the potential of him becoming the next Everton manager, talking about some of his honours and just breaking down the sort of story as it is at the minute, and the timeline of how it's gone over the last sort of 24 hours or so, just so we're a little bit more clued up on it. But as for this game tomorrow night, it's all about the team, and it's all about Duncan Ferguson, and it's all about going out there and getting the win, and let's hope we can do that. Right, if you have enjoyed the stream, please do hit that like button. It means a massive amount to me. Let's dive back into the live comments before we end it. Where are we? Lavvid says I would definitely play Pickford. Me too. Jem says Ancelotti though. Haha. Hope it happens and soon. Me too. Wayne says might need some luck in the squad tomorrow as it's on its last legs. Gordon and Sims need to go. Makes more sense than Nias. Fair enough, maybe they'll be given an opportunity. LCFC Boy says, think that with 2 teams full of confidence, don't think we will rotate too much. I don't think you will either. Wayne says, we might need Martinez soon. Things looking that bad. Roll on January. Yeah, and that's another thing that's being rumoured about Carlo Ancelotti, is that one of the things he has asked for is a big January transfer budget, and he will get that if he comes to Everton. So, like I said, we'll talk about that in the video in a little bit later on. Chris says, massive opportunity at the minute for both clubs to win a trophy this season. I agree. And he also says, Moyes keen to work well under Ancelotti. Hopefully, mate. Hopefully he reacts well to that. He's liked the post on Instagram today, claiming that Ancelotti's agreed the deal to come to Everton. But, you know what Moyes Keane likes. He likes every Instagram post, doesn't he? Sorry, Wayne says, sack Keane for Sims. He's better, more natural finish, a waste of money. I don't know. He's a very, very young lad, Ellis Sims, and I think it's important that we don't rush him into proceedings. LCFC Boy says, my guess is start 11 to be Ward, Justin, Sionchu, Evans, Chilwell, Chowdhury, Pratt, Maddison, Gray, Iniacho, and Perez. Again, another good start 11. Carl says, Keane shouldn't play, hope he goes. Fair play. Ian says Keane may not be the best choice over Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He mightn't be, and I felt that would come, and Duncan Ferguson might say, you know what, I'm gonna play Dom instead, and I'm just gonna continue with the same starting 11. But I think it will be good for Moyes Keane to get in there, show us what he's got, and I also think it'd be good for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to have a rest. But that's absolutely fair enough. Again, I've just gone for a little bit of a change up because it's a cup competition and because we play an awful lot of games over the next couple of weeks, and a couple of players are going to need time to rest. Bain says, Cameron will put Richie on the wing where Iwobi is and put DCL up front with Keane. Think that pair would work well. Fair play, and give Richie the rest. Alternatively, it wasn't really a a specific reason between, putting Richie in there and taking Dom out, or it was either one of them really that I was going to pick to have a rest, and it's just I've thought Dom's, performed at a higher level over the last 2 weeks than Richie's performed at a high level, but I just think Dom's worked a little bit harder, so that's why I took him out for the rest. Eugene says, would you play Gylfi Sigurdsson tomorrow night? Not unless he's 100% fit, and I don't even think I'd risk him then, because, he's had an illness at the end of the day. He hasn't come off the back of a knock or a muscle strain or a knocked ankle. He's come off the back of a virus, and it's going to be freezing cold, an illness, and it's going to be freezing cold, and I think it's impossible almost for a player on a Sunday to be ill and be vomiting in the night, to a Wednesday being completely fit to compete in 90 minutes against a team like Leicester City, who have been on form this season. Wayne says, Sims bagged 2 in the other night, pressing hard, can't wait for him to get in the first team. He might be the striker we've been craving. His game to goal ratio is better than Rooney's was at his age. I agree, but he's still very, very young at the minute. Lavin says, I would like to see Keane involved in some way. Could be revenge psychology, could be, definitely. Ian says, if Keane does play, Sims does have to be on the bench. Maybe. See what Dunk does. Joel says, I wouldn't change for Charlton and Dom for tomorrow. Fair play. Cornwall Blue says, alright Cam, great team as usual, mate. Moise Keane will have a bee in his bonnet, rough a few Leicester defenders up and hopefully bang one in. That could be the start of his Everton career. It could, and that's why I put him in. Alex says, yes Cam, yes Alex, hope you're doing well. Paul says, hopefully Ancelotti will bring Koulibaly to Everton in January. We can only hope, mate. We can only hope. Wayne says, think Ancelotti will take the Burnley game rather than the Arsenal. Makes more sense. That's what is being rumoured. Nissy Cover says, would you take Zlatan, Cam? You know what? I'd take Zlatan just to say Zlatan Ibrahimovic plays for Everton, and just so I could go out there and get every single conceivable Everton shirt in that shop with Ibrahimovic on the back. Whether he'd be right for the club at the minute, whether his ego would be right for the club, he definitely, his experience and his quality would definitely be able to help the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin and the likes of, Moise Keane. Would Zlatan work with Duncan Ferguson? I don't know. But it would be fantastic to have Zlatan and Everton, wouldn't it? Let's be perfectly honest. Dan says, great show, Cam. Thank you very much, Dan. He also says, Ancelotti would raise our profile and attack top players. It would be great. It's amazing how you can talk so fast by yourself and never run out of things to say, top lad. Thank you very much, and I agree 100% spot on with you. Ian says, it would be good if Big Dunk is manager for the Arsenal game, even if Ancelotti is in the stands watching, making his mind up, getting points to stay with Big Dunk. Fair point. That potentially could happen as well. George says, I'd take Big Dunk as our manager tomorrow, as our future manager. Yeah, I'd love Duncan Ferguson to manage Everton, and I think if we go out and we get the win tomorrow, and then Ancelotti takes over from there, or we get the win against Arsenal and Ancelotti takes over from there, I think Duncan Ferguson's pretty much saying, listen, I can be the manager of this club in a couple of years. Just give me a bit of time to learn a bit more. And if he's learning off the likes of Carlo Ancelotti, who is a tactical genius and one of the best managers to ever live, then you've got full confidence in Duncan Ferguson taking over at some point in the future. Paul says, Ancelotti's last 7 clubs include Napoli, Juventus, AC Milan, Bayern, PSG, Chelsea, Real Madrid. Can you imagine the players he can indice to Everton? Exactly, spot on. And I was looking at some of the players that Carlo Ancelotti's managed over his years: Paolo Maldini, Ronaldinho, Cristiano Ronaldo, Big Ronaldo, and you couldn't call him Big Ronaldo, but Ronaldo, both Ronaldos, Pirlo, Petr Cech, Lampard, the list just goes on, and it's just world-class player after Robin, Ribery, Lewandowski. It's just world-class player after world-class player after world-class player, and to have him managing Everton Football Club would just be an absolute dream, and it almost seems surreal. But like I said, we'll talk about him in tonight's video. Don't forget to check that out. It won't be a live team, it will be a video. It'll go up a little bit later on, so watch out for that one, and get your comments in the comment section down below that one as well, and let me know your thoughts on Ancelotti. And then they says, I'm excited for the match tomorrow. Can't imagine Big Dunk won't be buzzing to get the win in the cut run. Excited to potentially have an Italian put his arm around Keane and ground him a bit. I agree, spot on. Sonny says, have you heard the rumours about Zlatan Ibrahimovic reuniting with Ancelotti? I have. My thoughts are, it would be nice. It would be fantastic to see somebody of the calibre of Zlatan at Everton. Whether it will happen, I don't know. Ian says, I would have given Holgate man of the match. The way he moved into midfield was fantastic. I agree, spot on. And Wayne says, Ferguson not staying on as assistant made him think he was. Well, Sky reported that Ancelotti will have 2 assistants. One will be David, who is his son, who I believe is his assistant. That's, he's carried through for quite some time now. And one will be Duncan Ferguson. So, again, Ancelotti sort of agreeing that, right, okay, well, I'm going to bring my team in, but we can have Duncan there as well. And I think that can be a real important mix, and like I said, something that we'll talk more about later on tonight. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's live team. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It means a massive amount to me. If you're new to the channel as well, don't forget to subscribe. It only takes a second. Like I said, watch out for that video a little bit later on. It'll probably be up in a couple of hours time. We'll be talking more about Carlo Ancelotti and his potential move to Everton, talking about his honours and talking about how important this could be for the future of Everton Football Club. Big thanks for watching. Please do hit that like button if you have enjoyed today. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. It only takes a second. We've got loads of content coming out over the next few weeks. But like I said, talking more about this game, it is the game preview, and it's massively important that we go out and we get the win tomorrow. And it's a big opportunity for us to get into the semi-final of a cup competition that we've never won, and hopefully potentially go out there and put in another top performance like we have been doing over the last couple of weeks. And that's all that matters for now. All we have to do is focus on tomorrow, not look past tomorrow, not worry about anything else. Let's just have tunnel vision on tomorrow and go out and get the win. Wayne says result thanks. Thank you very much, Wayne. Big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. It only takes a second. Wayne says cheers, but cheers, Wayne. Thank you very much. Big thanks to everybody for getting involved in the live comments. As per usual, if you're watching a YouTube video, leave your comments in the comment section, and I'll be getting involved with as many of them as possible. Big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed. Look out for tonight's video a little bit later on about Carlo Ancelotti. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.